I'm not 100% clear on what happened.
Mhm.
It was only maybe mentioned once in passing. We didn't delve into it. She, moved back in with her parents. Her mother died, her brother died, and then she got pregnant with me, gave me up, and then married the love of her life. So
Hmm.
that, yeah, I'm not sure where we were going, but yeah, I just have to keep recapping it because it is kind of confusing. So yeah, this half brother that is older than me. So then I'm next, and then these other two siblings. You had asked about birth order.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. What a tree.
yeah,
I mean, this is a complicated tree that we
it
have.
is. Yeah, because when you think about it, my older half brother is a single. No 100% siblings. I'm a single, and then there's the other two that are 100% related to each other. But I got to say, it doesn't feel that way when we're together.
Okay.
It doesn't, because I think the Mary gene is so strong.
Right.
Oh, yeah. It's real clear
And
when we're all in a line
yeah, the
who's
connect.
related to who.
You're
Uh, we all have the same,
all
yeah,
the same mom. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So, the boys got blue eyes, but
Are you a
no.
brown-eyed girl?
Well, Hazel, let's call it Hazel.
Hazel? Okay. I
Who
haven't seen you
cares?
in person
Yeah.
in so long.
Right. Anyhow, it's just yeah, it's clear that we're all related
Yeah.
and that yeah, so the connections were I do her husband who kind of considered me his kid. She overheard him talking on the phone to an life insurance agent or something, and they asked, "How many kids do you have?" And he listed all of us. He
That's
listed me along with the other ones.
wow.
And that just, she had to let me know that. She's like, "That's how he feels about you." And I'm like, "Oh, God."
And
Yeah. So sweet.
wow. Because, you never know what you're going to get with.
Yeah. Yeah. Believe me.
Oh, wow.
And it shames me now how much I took all that for granted. Like I was blown away by it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
That's so sweet. And I'll always remember that.
yeah.
But no, I didn't like, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
He,
That's amazing.
it's like he claimed you. Like
Yeah,
he
he
just
did.
went, yep, she
Yep, he just
part of
did.
this family and
Yeah.
no different. Oh,
Yep.
that's so
Yep.
precious. I'm sure we're going to talk about him in a different
Oh my
episode
God. Yeah.
because he just sounds like someone that I want to hear more about. And
Oh, you do, because there's quirky stuff all over this
I
story. There's quirky
love it.
stuff.
And he says a lot more about Mary and, things that are going to come up because we don't ever really know the rest of our entire story. And, there's just so many angles and things, and then things you didn't consider the first time you read about it or heard it, but maybe
Right.
later on it makes sense to you. And it sounds like
Right.
you're having some of that happen now that you're talking about it more.
Yeah. And I'm revisiting it. And I have all these journals, which I'm
Mhm.
not sure if I mentioned, from Mary's father.
Yeah,
He journaled his entire life.
I
Um,
love that.
and it's really amazing. So, you get and I think I've mentioned this before, you get the weather report, the business dealings, because he was in real estate, and, the price of a box of nails at the hardware store and how much he paid for this, that, and the other thing. Well, just this week, I'm reading through, it was actually just this morning, I was reading through, and it was a Halloween entry. He listed which kids showed up at the house. If he didn't know them, he would just say 4 kids. But if he knew them, he would name them. And at the end, he totaled how many kids showed up. And this was after his wife had died.
Wow.
So he's I'm sure my mom was taking, my brother out trick-or-treating.
Mhm.
And so he was at home handing out the candy, and listed are my cousins from my dad's side.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it turns out that my cousins lived really close by. I don't think that my mother ever told anyone who who the dad was, so that there wouldn't be any weirdness.
Right.
She didn't tell anyone. She told me, but I don't think she ever told her dad. Um, he might have guessed, though. He might have guessed, because there's entries about my dad in his journals too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a whole, oh God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have
I'll
to
just
figure out how
like,
we're going to make this happen, because a couple of
they're
things.
very brief. They're very brief. It's just like after,
Really?
after he's very perfunctory. The and in that way, I found like the rhythm of his life was just so, oh my God, no internet, no streaming, no email, no texting.
Back when life was actually really cool.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just did stuff. He got in his car. He changed his own oil.
Yeah.
He reframed his own windows.
Yeah.
It was DIY.
Ugh.
And if he did need to hire somebody, that was documented in these journals. And so after his son died, my uncle, he sold, because my uncle was into bodybuilding, and so is my dad. And he sold my uncle's weights to my father. So I'm like, oh gosh, this is interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think we should have a full episode of Grandpa's
Journals.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I will do that, because there are some really funny entrants, like intentionally funny. And, everything's very perfunctory. And then every once in a while, you're just like, where did that come from? Just like my mom, like really just kind of like way to describe a meal, Grandpa. Like he described a meal that my mom cooked. I will not give away the punchline. It's hilarious.
I love Grandpas.
Yeah, you will. So I'll pull that stuff together and we'll talk about Grandpa and how like I never got to meet him because he died before I met the family.
No.
It's sad because he lived a long, long life. And if I had just gotten in the stick a little earlier, man, I would have gotten to meet him. But I feel like through his journals, I'm getting to know him and from family stories, because of course, I mean, it's like the Waltons, for God's sakes. Everybody liked each other. Yeah, there was conflict, but everybody liked each other.
It's awesome. Well,
can
you give a little summation about, because today we're primarily talking about Mary.
Yeah.
The relationship that you had with her, and we've talked about her a little bit before. Yeah. But can you kind of give a little bit of a summation about without going into too much detail, just kind of like a little, like an ending, something about her. Like, what did she mean to you after you met? And I mean, clearly, I think if people have been following us, since the beginning, they've heard the letters and they've heard about her. And maybe I'm not trying to make you emotional, clearly, but can you just give a little bit of a little summary about her?
Summary of what my mother meant to me. Whew. Well, the world. She was a good friend. I mean, I think about, and I miss these phone conversations so much, just calling her and blathering about my day and her listening to every word and like having some good advice and good feedback. And it just felt so accepted. Like, just, it must have been how she felt when she grew up, when she said she was just accepted and loved. And she knew how to do that. And not many people have that gift, just how to love without conditions. I mean, the only condition was that postcard where she sent her phone number on it. That was like the only thing. That was the only bump in the road. And that wasn't even a bump, She was quirky. She meant, oh my God, it meant so much to me to have somebody whose humor I understood. Oh, yeah. Just to be loved like that, and to love her in the same way too, to try to learn from that example. I guess that is a powerful example. And I haven't always followed it. So it is a beacon of hope that maybe someday I'll be as good as her.
I think you already are. But again, like you said previously, you are your own worst critic.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like this woman, she's with you all the time.
Yep.
You follow her example to the best that you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're very much just like her.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Well,
and the good, bad, and the ugly, the obsessive collecting, all of it, it's there. Mm-hmm. But, and at some point we will go into, later in life,
sure.
When she did, pass from this world, and just what a bonding experience that was with my siblings. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't think of another story in my life that has meant so much to me as to be there when she passed. And we will leave it at that, because that's a whole something, that I'm not even sure has anything to do with adoption, but it does, because you still, you weren't raised in that house, but you're getting to know them.
Absolutely.
Getting to know them. Yep.
And we do have so many stories left, and so many unexplored corners and people and things.
Oh, yeah.
And,
because we still have to talk about Dad.
Oh, we have so many dads, plural.
Yes.
I guess that's why our little sign off word to your mothers and to your fathers.
Right.
In adoptees world, they're always multiple. So
because I have two moms, surrogate moms, and now we're up to three dads.
Right.
So
sometimes it's somebody who's just a figure in your life who not actually be part of the raising of you physically, I guess, but somebody who might be a positive force, hopefully. So that's kind of where that came from, I guess. But
that is where it came from. Absolutely.
So do you feel like that's a good stopping point?
I think that's a great stopping point.
All
right. Yeah.
Well, here we go with the ending part, as usual. If you would like to share your own story, please write to theadoptionsquad@gmail.com. Feel free to remain anonymous if you wish. You can also visit our website, theadoptionsquad.com, to connect to our social media pages and the YouTube channel. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and review to help us grow. And I guess today's big message, again, for me at least, is please be diligent and wear the mask.
Oh, yeah.
Please. This week alone, 2 people I'm close to have tested positive, and I'm just definitely fingers crossing it for them. And hoping for the best and everybody else who's been affected by this. And